Eureka! I think I found it. The elusive Brexit benefit in the form of the ETIAS, yeah, and that is the European Travel Information and Authorisation System. Oh, and it should be coming into full force in 2024 if they don't kick that can down the road yet again. It's not just the UK that does that. They do it here in the EU as well, you know. Well, I suppose it is a rather difficult thing to implement with all the member states. But what does that mean for you? Well, it means you're going to have to get yourself a travel pass. Yeah, you have to go onto the website, as you do. Oh, yeah. And in most cases, the computer will come back and say, oh, all done. You got your travel pass. So you got your travel pass, you're happy and what have you. But what if the computer said no? Oh, yeah, denial. How could that actually happen? What have I done wrong? Well, there are a few reasons why your travel pass could be rejected when this new system comes into full play. Well, there's one thing in particular that got me a little bit curious. Something that wasn't a problem before Brexit. You know, when a whole load of numpties put the cross in the wrong box. That they did. Well, looking on the old Schengen Visa info website, as you do, good place to look, good source of information if you want anything to do with the EU. Well, reasons for ETIAS denial. It says here, while so far reasons for ETIAS rejection have been rather blurry, yes, an official of the EU Commission has provided the SchengenVisaInfo.com website with a list of the main reasons why an ETIAS may be rejected. See, that could happen to you, you see. Could block you from visiting an EU member state. Well, according to the list, the main reasons why an ETIAS applications may be rejected are as follows. I thought I'd just share it with you. Now, one is your passport is invalid. Obviously, if your passport's invalid and you haven't got enough time left on your passport, it's going to be rejected, isn't it? You know, you should know all this stuff already, to be honest, because you've got to have a certain amount of time on your passport past the actual return date. You know, in some countries it's 3 months, most countries it's 6 months. Yeah. And then you've got to think about your issue date on your passport. Let's say, for instance, your passport was issued and gave you an extra 3 months. Could be up to an extra 9 months on your passport. Well, the EU don't recognise that extra 9 months. You're going to have to bear that in mind as well when you make your application. Yeah, don't take the risk. So, yes, your passport could be, invalid, or it might have been reported as lost or stolen, etc., etc. Yeah. Let's say, for instance, your passport has been stolen and you reported it as such, but you have your passport numbers and all the stuff you think you need to do your travel pass, but they will know, you see. It's all part of the system. They will know whether or not it is lost or stolen because you reported it as such. And that another reason, you consider the risk. But we'll get back into that one in a moment. Let's look at the other reasons first. You have an SIS alert. An applicant is a person for whom an alert has been entered into the SIS for the purpose of refusing entry and stay. You submit an incomplete application. Don't do it. That'd be silly. Make sure it's all filled in full, and you've got all your ducks in a row. It'd be pretty stupid to send off, press send on your application if you haven't filled it in, wouldn't it? Yeah. It'd be very ridiculously stupid. Yeah. And the other reason could be that you failed to attend an interview. The applicant fails to attend an interview after he or she is required to do so. That's if you made an application and say, I'm sorry, but you need to come in when we need to have a little chat. Yeah, a little interview. See whether or not we want you in the EU. In the Schengen area. Well, what about the other reasons that I skipped past a minute ago? Such as these. You are considered a risk. Now, that got me thinking, that did. Yeah. What is a risk? Well, a risk is a person, or a risky person, who maybe let's spend some time inside. Maybe got a criminal record or something like that. Now, there's a parking fines or speeding fines and those sort of crimes. Well, they'll be considered as, minor. And they'll be ignored, pretty much. You know what I mean? So you don't got to worry about that. County court judgments, all court orders, county court judgments, etc., etc. None of that stuff really matters. No. But let's say, for instance, you did something pretty stupid when you're younger. Maybe you spent some time inside. Yeah. But, you did the crime, and you paid it with your time and what have you, and you turned your life around. Maybe you got a family, you got kids now, it's 20 years later. You still got a criminal record, though. Remember that. The likelihood is you're not going to, get your travel pass approved. Even though you're potentially a good person now. I actually admire people who manage to, make good. I've had people work for me in the past. If you think, crikey, they're on the wrong path, they are. And, you give them a job, might give them a chance. Give him a chance, and such a young Dale, he's a good lad he was. He was going down the wrong path, he was. And he came to work for us and that, and we gave him a chance. And now he's qualified in the trade. He's a bricklayer, and he's qualified doing what he's doing, and he's still doing it, and he's got family and that now, and he's a good guy, He was my most loyal employee. I love that guy. Really good chap. Anyway, that's young Dale. He was ginger, though, so I can't really hold that against him, I suppose. Sorry, Ginger's giraffe. Anyway. But some people do turn their lives around, and they are going to be penalised because of Brexit. Yeah. And so will their families. No more family holidays. Now, in some cases, you may be able to attend an interview. But where is that going to be? Probably, I suppose, if you're going to, say, for instance, you enter in France or somewhere like that, it's going to be maybe the French embassy, maybe. I don't think they're going to... Well, maybe it's in France. Maybe you got to go to France, which you can't go to because you ain't got a travel pass. Or maybe it's going to be a Zoom call, even. I don't know. Just guessing here. It isn't clear yet how this is going to be facilitated. I imagine it will be at the embassy. Well, you get an invitation, basically. So you have to attend this interview. More cost, because you've got to get there. More hassle. Schengen visa's already costing you a little bit of money. It's not very expensive, but you have to get for every single person in your family. So you set £7. So it's not horrendous. So yeah, if for instance you're a criminal, basically. Not necessarily a criminal now, but you was a criminal. You got a criminal record. So you're considered a risk in the Schengen area for all the countries in the Schengen area and their citizens and other travellers as well. Now, I don't have to apply for a travel pass because I have my carte séjour here in France. I live in France, you see. So we don't have to do it, me and my dear missus. No. She also doesn't have to go into the non-EU lane, but she can go, yeah. Sorry. So the lane where you don't have to queue. She walks past and she gives it the bird, she does. Sorry, I do apologise. Anyway, just make me tickle though. So the applicant poses an illegal immigration risk, which means that the member state responsible for issuing the ETIAS to the applicant believes that he or she intends to remain in the Schengen area legally. That brings me on to expats or immigrants living in Spain and France and other EU member states who were living under the radar. You know how it goes, under the radar, Unfortunately for them, they're illegals. They could be, removed from the EU. That's Brexit for you. Well, quite frankly, they should have registered anyway while you're there, because of the health system and all that sort of stuff. They were still using their, at the time it was the EAT card and what have you. They weren't being honest about the amount of time they were spending in the EU. Anyway, that's another story. So the applicant poses a high epidemic risk. So obviously with the pandemic, people become nervous. So if there's an epidemic, say for instance in the United Kingdom, well, they're not going to want you to come in, are they? They're gonna block you. We don't want your bugs. No. So as you can see, the travel pass as a whole, I don't think it's going to be much of a problem for most people. It's going to be fairly easy. You just make the application, and the computer says yes. But there's going to be cases when when the computer says no, and you're not coming in. Or you have to have an interview. Well, a lot of people got to check the past, haven't they? A lot of people have, I just wish they'd just, put the Brexiters on that list as well. If you vote for Brexit, you're not coming in. It cost the EU a huge amount of money. You did cause all aggro, Northern Ireland as well. Protocols and winter frameworks and God knows what else. Oh, anyway, you tell me. Are you a little bit concerned about this new ETIAS system that'll be coming into force in 2024? Like I say, it can kick down the road yet again, but we don't know. Might not. You tell me. For me, I'm quite happy about it because we don't want your criminals. No. You can keep them. But let's be honest, the UK is implementing their own scheme as well, so that door swings both ways, really. More red tape. It's like red tape for people. But Jake Rees-Mogg said, post-Brexit, everything will become cheaper. Yeah, that's what he said, yeah. Cheap use for peasants. But no. We now got another fee to deal with, more cost to deal with. Because of Brexit. Yeah, lovely. Ain't you happy with your Brexit? Leave it in the comments down below. No, I ain't. I think it's a crock of shit. I do. Anyway, you tell me. Like I say, please leave it in the comments down below. But please boot the old like button. And maybe subscribe. And the little bell icon down there somewhere. There it is. Yeah, there. Yeah, okay. Because then you get a one fuzzy feeling in your pocket every time I upload another video. Just support the channel. You can do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee. And the links are down below in the description. We've also got memberships and super thanks. And that as well. We're also planting trees here in France. Yeah. And you can come visit if you like, you know. If you get your travel pass, that is. Yeah. Anyway, we're planting trees. 1,000 trees on 2 hectares of land. And you'll be part of that by buying a tree, basically. And we'll put a tree in the ground on your behalf. Hopefully, maybe the end of this year, if not next, be this field over here. But we're already started in our field over there. So there's 2 hectares of land that we are planting trees on. We'll put a tree in the ground on your behalf. Also, I'll make a sign, a bit like these signs, to go with the tree. Be a memory of a loved one or a pet or whatever. Yeah, whatever you like, really. Anyway, it's time for me to go, so I say ta-ta, you know. So, ta-ta. And don't forget your travel pass. But don't bother if you're a criminal. Ta-ta.